Hi, my name is Katie Fire, and I'm going to be bringing you this week's quote of the week. The universe is big. It's vast, complicated, and ridiculous. And sometimes, very rarely, impossible things just happen. We call them miracles.
I'm trying.
Shy. He's almost got it. Use your thumb.
I'm just thinking.
There we go. He has caught the right horn. Will it escape? So Dave, how do you feel about your accomplishment of catching a 71 right horn on Pokemon Go?
Feels like.
All right, that's all for your news in school.
I wasn't finished yet. My name is Dade.
And we are your news in school. If you haven't heard already, Oil City High School actually has its own Facebook page now. To go to it, all you have to do is go to your Facebook account and type in OCASDPA, and it will pop up right there.
Ashton,
Yes.
you said I told you that I would be here with you on one condition.
What?
You beat me in a game of basketball.
Well, you know what? We'll do that later. Have you also heard the other news, Dave?
What is it, Ashton?
Oil City High School is actually offering a DUI program for Oil City High School students.
Yes, we need that. Very much.
Don't drink.
Don't drink and drive, you know. It just takes, like, that one decision you make, you know. You get coaxed by your friends, you know. Blah, blah, blah. You drink and drive, you crash. Guess what? Police are on to you. You know what? You can't have your driver's license until 2025. That's a good job, you. Anything else you want to add to that?
Oil City High School and middle school are actually making better day cards for veterans.
Yep.
Yep. Financial aid workshop.
That's great, Jonathan.
Yes. How do you like them apples?
Oh, you know, I love apples, Jonathan.
Ah, me too. What kind do you like?
Fuji apples.
Ooh, I like them Granny Smiths.
Ew.
Ew. I hate your Fuji.
Yeah.
Alright, that's it.
How's it going, Oil City? I'm Josh. I'm here to talk about school sports. So, varsity football. We are currently 4-1. Junior varsity is 5-0. Men's soccer is 1-8. Girls soccer, well, we won't talk about that. Well, this has been school sports.
This is Dawson Heater with your Week 3 NFL update. First game, we have the Browns versus Jets. Browns win 21-17. Second, we have the Bills versus the Vikings, 27-6. The Bills win. Next, we have the Giants versus Texans with a close win of 27-22. We have the Redskins versus the Packers with 31-17. With our next game, the Chiefs won 38 against the 49ers, who had 27. Next, we have the Dolphins versus the Raiders. Dolphins had 28 points and Raiders had 20. Next, we have the Eagles and the Colts game, where the Eagles won 20-16. Next, we have the Titans versus Jaguars, where the Titans got 9 and Jaguars had 6. Next, we have the Panthers and Bengals game, where the Panthers won 31-21. Next, we have the Ravens versus Broncos, where the Ravens won 27-14. Next, we have the Saints and Falcons game, where the Saints won 43-37. Next, we have the Chargers and Rams, where the Rams won 35-23. We have the Bears versus the Cardinals, where the Bears won 16-14. Next, we have the Cowboys and the Seahawks, where the Seahawks won 24-13. We have the Patriots and the Lions, where the Lions won 26-10. And finally, we have the Steelers versus the Buccaneers, where the Steelers won 30-27.
Catch and fumble. Thomas on the return. Gallup had it, lost it. They're calling it.
On September 21st, the Oil City Oilers played Du Bois, but the game was postponed due to serious weather conditions. As you can see on this, it was very bad, and it rained a lot, so everyone went inside and got popcorn all over the floor. As you can see, the Oilers did win though. They got the dub. CC ran for like too many yards probably. And that was it. This is your weather report. I'm Sam Pulio.
Hi, my name is Roman, and today we are going to be talking about the different generations. This will include different facts and the years that the generation has lasted. First generation we will talk about is the Lost Generation. This generation ranged from 1883 to 1900. This generation was during World War I. The Lost Generation often drank, had affairs, and tried to find the new meaning of life when they were away from America. The next generation we will talk about is the GI generation. This generation ranged from early 1900s to the mid-1920s. The initials GI referring to government issues or general issues. It is often referred as the World War II generation. This generation experienced much of their youth during the rapid technology innovation. The next generation we will talk about is the Silent Generation. This generation lasted from the mid to late 1920s to the early to mid 1940s. This generation was comparatively small because the war in the early 1940s caused people to have fewer children. Some political or civil rights leaders from this generation include Martin Luther King Jr., Pope Francis, and many, many more. The next generation that we will talk about is baby boomers. Baby boomers ranged from the early to mid-1940s and ending around 1960 to 1964. The term baby boomer is also used in cultural context, so it is difficult to achieve broad consensus of a precise date definition. Baby boomers were the wealthiest, most active, and most physically fit generation. The next generation we will talk about is Generation X. This generation ranged from the early to mid-1960s to the early 1980s. It is known as the latchkey generation. In the 1990s, they were sometimes characterized as slackers, cynical, and disaffected. In midlife, research describes them as active, happy, and achieving a work-life balance. Many of you may know this next generation we're going to talk about, which is millennials. Millennials ranged from early 1980s to the mid-1990s to early 2000s. Sometimes referred to as echo boomers due to a major surge in birth rates in the 1980s and 1990s. Millennials are also known as Generation Y or Gen Y. The relative impact of baby boom echoes was generally less pronounced than the post-World War II baby boom. The last generation that we will be talking about is Generation Z. Generation Z lasted from mid-1990s to the mid-2000s. Most of Generation Z have used the internet since a young age, and most of them are generally comfortable with technology and interacting on social media. Those are all the generations we will be talking about today. Thank you so much for joining in.